plans just changed. The buck we seen this morning, which we thought we bedded him-ish, but we didn't know where he bedded. He's bedded right over there. I've seen him stand up and then he laid right back down, re-bedded. So I'm in Boat's boat. I'm gonna try to go there and stalk this guy. Oh, it should be fun.
I remember the spot that we picked, we thought looked like greatness. I remember that morning though, we shuffled around to like 3 or 4 different trees because the trees out there were a little bare, and so we were worried that we were gonna be stuck out in the open some.
It was starting to get daylight.
We climbed up two different trees.
It was starting to get daylight, and we literally picked the closest tree that we could get into with a saddle. Again, when it's getting daylight, I'm thinking, I mean, I hadn't hunted out of state very much. And I mean, it got daylight and I said, what is this place? You know, it's because it's so open. I'm used to, you know, big hardwoods and it gets daylight and I'm like, oh my goodness, you can see for a mile. Me and Ryan was like, man, we gotta move. We're getting out of here. We looked across the way, which we had seen a couple good bucks over towards this little tree line. And so I was like, man, we need to go over this tree line.
Me and Ryan are not happy with our setup. Even though we did have a buck walk like 6 yards. We're still not happy. We're gonna probably climb down, and I seen 2 pretty decent bucks over here. One shooter for sure. He was on this tree line, and I just feel like we need to get closer to cover because we are down here in the open. So
we get down, grab our stuff. That's a good thing about the saddles. You know, everything's pretty quick. You got the climbing stakes, and all we went over towards the tree line. And so we found this place with good trails and lots of sign and climbed up in.
Was in it in a jiffy. And we were really just setting it up for that evening spot. We're just gonna leave everything in the tree. And did you see him bed down, I guess?
Yep, we had just got up to set down and we was looking for, we'd probably been up there 5 minutes, and I look out and I seen some deer moving to this little cedar thicket. And I was like, man, that looked like a good deer. I'm pretty sure he had a doe with him. And so, you know, I was like, man, that deer. And then all of a sudden I looked back and he was gone. And so I was like, man, he may have bedded right there because it was, you know, 11, 12 o'clock. And so I told Ryan, I was like, man, I'm pretty sure he bedded, or at least there's a deer in the area. And so we run out to Chicken Little and get lunch. And we come back in and it's probably 3 o'clock, 2, 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
We got up in the tree and I'll never forget it. I climb up first and get in, and I have my sunglasses on and we're just, you know, there for the rest of the evening. And so first thing I do is pop up my binos over to where I had seen that deer. And literally, I'll never forget it. I pulled up my binos and I watched the deer stand up out of his bed. Like it was like meant to be, to see this deer right at that moment stand up. And I watched him, and then I watched him bed down again. And I'm like, man, we just gotta go sneak on this deer.
At that point, you gotta make a decision.
Yeah.
You could play your odds or...
And hope he comes by.
Right.
But there's no guarantee.
In that case, we had the perfect conditions to do what we did.
The weather couldn't be any more perfect for us to make this stalk. You're still tied in, Don. Watch out, getting a little ahead of yourself. Wind's blowing like 20 mile an hour. So we got a perfect plan. Hopefully it works out.
And the deer is probably bedded probably about 300 yards away. And so we made sure that the wind, we got a really good direction on the wind, and it was just a crosswind. We're actually moving fairly fast towards this deer. We got within about 75 yards of the deer, and I'm trying to find the deer. So I'm getting close enough to where, I want to see the deer. That way, you know, I have a really good idea what we can do, what we can use to hide us sneaking in on the deer. And so I finally found the tips of his antlers. We finally make the decision to crawl on our bellies. Yeah. You know, and so we're hands and knees and elbows and stickers and in our elbows, and so we're crawling up through there to within, I remember there was a big log right to my left, and we're within 30 yards of this deer, 25 maybe.
And he just randomly stands up.
And he randomly stands up, and still to the day, I don't know exactly why he stood up if he heard something, he seen something, or he was looking for his doe. I don't really know.
Smoke him. Bill.
I seen the arrow hanging out.
I'm talking. He was gonna walk right up on us, and when he walked into the sun with his eyes, that's when I was like, I'm gonna draw because he may not be able to see that well. And I hooked it. I mean, at that point, I don't know what else to say.
I'm about to pass out just because I was stuck so long and all the adrenaline. I just was parched. My mouth was dry. And so me and Ryan just lay on our backs and we just start talking about and just trying to replay and trying to get an idea on, obviously you don't want to wound an animal, and that is not a textbook shot, but it is a kill shot. And so we get done celebrating and we don't want to push the deer, so and it's a long walk out of there. So we walked all the way back out to the truck and got on the laptop, watched it, replayed it, and seen how much the arrow was sticking out.
And then we went back after them to go look, and immediately we found blood. And if you've shot a deer or an elk frontal, they pour a pile of blood. But this deer was as strong as anything I've ever seen.
Bleeding like a stuck hog.
He definitely stopped. Dude, he's dead in this. I know it. Should we back out? No. I'm telling you, he's dead.
What? No. No. Do you see him? No. No. Donaldson. Dude.
Watch that broadhead.
You're the best, dude.
I told you he was dead, son.
Arrow's still in him, son.
Oh, friend.
To be successful, what we've found is being versatile. And in order to do that, you've got to be lightweight and be able to get up and get down from whatever you're doing quickly.
Yeah.
Saddle hunting makes it so much easier to make those decisions.
Yeah.
And obviously it paid off huge.
It was awesome. It was definitely, in my hunting career, probably my favorite hunt of all time, I would think. Especially, and definitely for a whitetail. There's been a lot of hunts that we've all had together, but that one sticks out. I mean, there's no way it couldn't.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
Just a super pretty, unforgettable hunt.
Yeah.